Hello sir, my name is Agustin Sintius. I'm from Management Department. For this presentation, I want to talk about travel regulation, cultural diversity, and grammar. First, travel regulation. Travel expenses must be stated on the official travel expense voucher. Expense on voucher shopping, fees charged to card shopping UI. By agreeing to the voucher, the traveler certifies that these fees are actual costs permitted by policy and will not be refunded or claimed as a tax credit from other funding resources. Departmental approval indicates that all expenses and receipts have been verified and are in accordance with travel guidelines. With the approval of fees, expenses travel and head of department to prove that such costs incurred in the business of universities and examined and approved by the person designed as the endorsement department, agencies, or a source of funding. As the design approver of the Department of Expenses incurred on behalf of the University of Iowa through this form, the approver understands that he or she has a duty fiduciary to comply with all applicable guidelines institutional. It is their responsibility to review all expenditures and additional documents necessary to determine whether expenses are for legitimate business purposes and for the benefit of the university. Faculty may review expenses outside the scope of the travel regulation of universities. In special cases where a policy exception is deemed necessary, application written with justification must be sent to the purchasing manager for approval before any fees are incurred. General admission, namely as pre-printed form of or receipt that are not stamped with the name of the meeting or hotel or provider are not valid as proof of payment. If the general receipt is the only one available, then the document are require additional following. First, cancellation of the front and back of the check. Second, copies of the check and bank statement. Information that is not relevant to you may be deleted. Card credit statement. Travel expenses will be refunded by payment directly to employees whose salaries are directly deposited. This payment is separate from the payroll process. Commercial air travel. Commercial air must be travel made on airline standard. Round fares trip bus class are refundable. Travelers are expected to receive a fare minimum sufficient to meet their business travel needs. First class or business class only permitted for medical reasons that are proven, arrangement contractual, or in a state of pre-approved by the department trip. A statement satisfactory must be presented to DAV and approved by the travel department before making a refund. Private car. Anyone is allowed to travel to the university to use cars, but at their own risk. All expenses operating such as car repairs, the cost of the lost key, access fees, parking toll, missings, and many more. Please pay for it personally, as well as liability and property damage. Mileage refund will only be given service. The primary payload is used as indicated in paragraph below. In all other cases, the charge secondary is used. The actual mileage should be reported in the column description TAV. The distance traveled is calculated as the distance from your home or office, whichever is shorter to your destination. Mileage above this maximum will be taxed per IRS. respect for cultural diversity and cultural rights. Cultural diversity, or what is commonly referred to as multicultural, is currently increasingly becoming the concern of various countries in the world. Many views have emerged about this diversity. Some view that this cultural diversity is a positive thing that can enrich a country, but not a few who think that diversity is a negative thing because this diversity has the potential to be the root of the emergence of a conflict in a country. One of the international institutions that pay more attention to the issue of cultural diversity is UNESCO. From the outset, UNESCO has been convinced of the importance of cultural diversity and the values it embodies. In the UNESCO Constitution, it is written that the world cultural diversity is mutually beneficial. This opinion is still very relevant today in the future, even though the definition of cultural has become more broad and the effect of globalization have changed many things. Compared to when the Constitution was passed in 1945 at the end of the Second World War. Mutual benefit and the values contained therein, as stated in the UNESCO Constitution, then the public should know the importance of cultural diversity for a country in various fields. Supposedly, this diversity can provide various kinds of positive benefits for people living in multicultural countries, even though these differences actually have different intrinsic function. But this diversity can be considered important for the protection, preservation, and promotion of cultural diversity. Basically, all countries in the world are countries that have multicultural characteristics, both in terms of religion, ethnicity, and language. There are many big countries that embrace multicultural nature in the world, one of which is Indonesia. Various pluralities exist in Indonesia, consisting of diversity in social class, ethnicity and race, gender, religion, language, and age. Respect for cultural diversity and cultural rights for each person. Each tribe has different custom and tradition, even so they are still part of the country. Respect, according to the Big Indonesian Dictionary, is to respect, to acknowledge. So respecting other regional cultures is to give respect and acknowledge the existence of other cultures. Meanwhile, respect has a meaning that is not much different, namely to give respect. This respect can be given in a variety of ways. The following will explain how to respect and respect interculturalism. First, proud to wear other regional traditional clothing. Each region must have different traditional clothes. To show respect, Friends should be proud when wearing traditional clothes from other regions. Second, maintain cleanliness when visiting other areas. Friends can also show respect by always maintaining cleanliness when visiting other areas, especially when you are in a traditional house in another area. Don't pollute the cultural building. Third, share stories about the privilege of other tribes. To show respect, friends can also share the stories with various friends who come from different tribes. This method can also make friends better understand and get to know other cultures by knowing, then respect and appreciate better. Grammar discussion. In the discussion section of grammar, let's look back at some words that we can use as material for discussion. Well, In this discussion, I will give some example of sentences using vocabulary that we have used earlier. Here are 5 example sentences. First, proud. We are proud that Agung is doing good at school. Receive. The play received preferential treatment. Share. They both want his job share. Refuse. Firmly refuse sexual offenses. Make it leave. That's all from me, sir. Thank you.